Roberts.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for coming today. I'm just going to take some of your quotes, Mr. Safe. But first of all, airlines are people business, service business. You said you need a cost base. I think that were your words. But you also need a people base.
Yes.
And the way to get the people and the cost mixed is to have very good cost-effective work from your people, which requires people to be on board. Now, Qantas's reputation, from what I can see as an outsider and from reading the mouthpiece media, has been trashed. Talking to pilots, talking to air hostesses, air stewardesses, the morale is not, it's down, well and truly down. During COVID, you forced injections onto pilots for a low-severity virus that showed no respect for its people. The vaccines were never tested and now been proven to be unsafe and to be not effective. Now there are so many serious adverse events. That shows to me a control atmosphere, and I'm asking you, is it to get short-term profit? Because there are edicts to outsource, again, shows short-term profits.
Senator, I might touch on the second issue you've raised and then pass to my colleague to touch on the first. So on the vaccine issue, like many companies, and particularly a company like ours, I'd challenge anyone to find a company in Australia that was more affected by COVID than us. But obviously, as an aviation business operating internationally, where many of the jurisdictions coming out of COVID had legal requirements for people to be vaccinated to operate and to enter those countries.
Under whose legal requirements?
The countries that some of the countries that we were operating to coming out of COVID. And like many companies in this country, we implemented a mandatory vaccine policy. It was broadly supported by the vast majority of our people, and we have been the subject of litigation over that policy on dozens of occasions, and to the best of my knowledge, without checking, have been successful in defending every single one of those pieces of litigation.
Is the push for outsourcing or labour hire, is that a push for short-term profit gain? Because the former chief executive was rewarded by such a scheme.
For outsourcing, Senator?
No, for improving financial returns short-term.
Well,
because people investment gets a long-term investment.
Absolutely, Senator. I agree, and that can be a very challenging part of aviation. Is that is a very low-margin business with a lot of competition, but we absolutely accept people are the most important part of our business, and we know that the 3 years of 2.5-3 years of COVID have been extremely difficult for our people. We know that there is enormous work to do to rebuild trust with our people, and our new CEO, I know because I helped facilitate it, has reached out to all union leaders of all the Qantas unions that we deal with to try to start building an open, transparent relationship with all of them.
Start building? So that it doesn't exist?
Well, I think it's fair to say that the COVID period and the many challenges came with it probably harmed some relationships. Absolutely. I don't think we would shy away from that. But as new CEO, I think Vanessa Hudson is absolutely on board that our people need to be and are the most important part of our recovery. And consistent with that, she is building relationships with their representatives.
Well, I've got to admit, Qantas people have been fabulous all for many decades now, but they're just not switched on. Many of them, they've lost faith in the leadership.
Senator, if I can add to the points around morale, firstly, I want to recognise that the past 3.5 years have been incredibly difficult for our people. We have made very difficult decisions which we recognise have had very big impacts on our people. Our people are incredibly important to us, and we are spending more time with our people. We are out in the operation talking to our people, listening to our people, understanding the individual impacts on our people. When you talk about morale and you talk about the impacts on people, you can talk about it at a collective, but it's also important that you're recognising it at an individual level.
Ms. Thompson, isn't it true that in a time of crisis, a good leader actually builds relationships and people get strengthened by that relationship? What's happened with Qantas this time of challenge is the relationship has been fractured. That's my understanding of good leadership. Let me just cut to the chase, and the question for you really is. You mentioned the words. You've evolved our labour model. Is the Fair Work Act too complex, too prescriptive, too difficult to change practices in the company? So you have to bypass it.
That's a big question, Senator. I think there are a lot of parts of the Fair Work Act that work very well. Are there changes that people would like to see? Sure.
Because it seems to me that companies are going around the Fair Work Act because it's just too difficult to apply, and just instead of sitting down with their people.
I wouldn't suggest we are going around the Fair Work Act at all, Senator. Certainly not.
Is it too difficult? Too prescriptive? Too complex?
Look, Senator, I mean, as IR practitioners who have been involved in this field for some time, I think we, are broadly comfortable with how the Fair Work Act has operated for a long time. But getting back to the purpose of today's inquiry, we do have concerns about what the implications of this bill will be if enacted. There is a lot of uncertainty around its implication. We are very concerned about the effect of the unlevel playing field it will create for us versus our competitors. So we do have very serious concerns about where the Fair Work Act may be going under these proposed changes.
Thank you. If I have any more time left, Chair, I cede it to you.
Thank you.